We're here at the Pratt Lake trailhead. Going to be starting here and then hiking up through to Pratt Lake, and we're going to keep going. So take a right here and follow this path along up to Melakwa Lake. Then come back down here on the Denny Creek Trail underneath I-90, and then continue to hike along all the way back to here. So that's going to be a pretty long hike. It's going to be about 16 miles total. All right, so we're going uphill now. The majority of the incline on this hike is in the first 5 miles or so. Grand total, I think it's about 3,500 feet of elevation gain in the whole hike. So second half of the hike, it's a lot of downhill. All right, we started this hike at 7:30 and the temperature was a little over 50 degrees, so pretty chilly to start, but I run pretty hot, so I know I'm gonna start sweating through this flannel I got on pretty soon, and I want to make sure I take it off before my undershirt gets totally soaked through, because then it's gonna be a long, sweaty, wet day. When you're hiking these long distances, you want to make sure you're regulating yourself kind of before you need regulation. So I like to kind of put preset markers into the hike. So each mile, sip some water, even if you're not thirsty, make sure you're getting it in. Maybe every 2 miles, have a bit of a snack, make sure you're getting your calories up, even if you don't feel that hunger yet. It's a lot better to be proactive with it. So if you start drinking water when you get thirsty, you're honestly a little too late, right? You're already starting to kind of feel those effects of dehydration, and it's really hard to make up that gap, especially with today where it's really cool right now, but I'm going to get into hiking later in the day when it gets a bit hotter, so I want to make sure I'm already hydrated before I get to that moment. Right, we are 2 miles in and we have climbed 1,200 feet. It's a pretty good gain. I was originally going to do this hike last week, but we had all those wildfires in Spokane, and you know, I thought I'm pretty far away. There's no risk of fire in this area. However, the smoke was crazy. So I figured, all right, I'll start driving out there and then make the call. It was like the first ridge that I drove over on the highway, and just the tree line was almost non-visible whatsoever because of all the smoke. So at that point, I just took the nearest exit and drove back and figured next week will be better, and it is much better. All right, that is a pretty good view. We're about 4 miles in, 2,200 feet of elevation gain so far. So that last 2 miles, only about 1,000 feet of elevation. This is a good place for a snack. You got a view of Mount Rainier right there. Apples are a top tier trail snack. Went with the Cosmic Crisp, probably my favorite. you can hear that squeaking. That might be a pika. Pika are these really cute little rodents who live up in these kind of mountainy rocks. They're really only active for about 2 months of the year. They come out during the summer months, gather a whole bunch of grass to make their dens, and they pretty much hibernate the rest of the year. I can't quite see who's making that noise, but there's a good chance that's what that is. Maybe it's just a chipmunk, something boring, but I think that squeak is a pika. Standing here looking up into these rocks hoping I would spot one, and sure enough one just ended up right there. So sometimes you get lucky. So we were just at Pratt Lake. Now we're going up to Melakwa Lake. Crossed the 8-mile threshold, and we are about 3 hours 40 minutes in, so making pretty good time. I was hoping this whole thing would take about 8 hours, so we're definitely on pace for that, even if stopped for about a 20-minute lunch. So that'll be the plan for now. All right, this path here to the right is what we came up, and this path left is how we're gonna get back to the car. But we're gonna go have lunch over here by the lake. Check that out. We got club crackers, cheddar cheese, blackberry jam, and smoked spicy salmon. Only thing that would have been better is if we brought the extra sharp white cheddar cheese. There we go, the full bite. right, just got to mile 11, and coming down has been a bit tougher. The terrain isn't quite as friendly as where I was walking up to Pratt Lake. Much more rocky. Rocks are moving on me, so a little bit slower going on the way down. Still pretty rough terrain going down. I'm hoping we get a little more consistency pretty soon. About 13 miles, and there's a creek ahead. I might stop first. Bell pepper and hummus. There's Interstate 90. I was wondering what all that noise was. So this part of I-90 is Snoqualmie Pass. It is a really, really tough place to pass in the winter. It gets a lot of snow, and oftentimes the road is shut down because of how much snow is falling. I-90 is one of the most traveled roadways in all of the US. Just finished the Denny Creek Trail, so we're here, but now we got to kind of walk on this road back to the Pratt Lake trailhead, and that's where we're parked. So about 2 miles of that, which is a lot better than what I had been hiking on. All right, while I'm on this road, this is a pretty good time to talk about the hike. This was my longest hike ever. That was kind of my goal, was just to get out and do a really long hike, and this was a really good choice. I like that it's a loop. I much prefer loops than out and backs. I think what I need to do is finally take the hiking pole pill and just get a good pair of hiking poles. At this point, my feet starting to get a little sore. There were definitely parts there where my legs were tired, that near ankle rolls that I think if I had hiking poles, it just would have been so much more stable. You can see I prefer the trail runners over, like a big clunky stable hiking boot. So if I'm gonna go with the trail runners, I think the hiking poles for stability, probably a good bet. The hikes itself, if you're interested in doing Pratt Lake or Melakwa Lake, both really, really cool. If you want to do the whole loop, go for it. I would say the Melakwa Trail that's going to connect you from Pratt Lake to Melakwa Lake, you could probably skip. Not the best as far as maintained trails. The view, there were some really cool views, but nothing that was absolutely breathtaking. You could probably skip that. So you could turn what I did into 2 separate hikes if you want. I think hiking out to Pratt Lake is going to be a little bit more secluded, and the trail is a lot better. It's not as rocky, it's not as rooty. That was really nice to hike. You get a really great view of Mount Rainier on a clear day, and you still get a really stunning, pretty Alpine Lake. As far as destinations go, Melakwa Lake, way cooler. That was one of the best Alpine lakes I've ever been at. Just so pristine, so beautiful. Scenery was unbelievable, but it's a much harder hike. Even coming down it, it was pretty brutal in some parts. I mean, it's not extremely technical, I'm no mountaineer, I'm an average hiker, but there were some spots that were definitely tougher. Looking around, there were plenty of people out there who, not the world's greatest hikers, but they were doing it just fine. Part of it is I was on mile 10, 11 at some points going over it, so that made it a whole lot harder. But I think if you want a longer hike, easier, less people, do the Pratt Lake hike. If you want really stunning Alpine Lake, go to Melakwa Lake, bring hiking poles, you'll be just fine. Or just do the whole thing. If you want to do, I think it's going to be about 16.5 miles, go for it. This is definitely probably a hike I'll do again. Maybe not the full loop, but I think Bree would really like the Alpine Lakes, going up, hiking, swimming in one of them, so I'll probably be coming back here. Back at the car, ended up being about 17.5 miles, 7 hours, 45 minutes, and over 37,000 steps, about 38,000 basically. So my dogs are barking. I'm gonna eat some cheese. I'm gonna go find a Diet Coke, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.